All right, guys, welcome into the 4A Boys State Basketball Tournament Preview Show. I'm Paul Kingsbury, and with me tonight, we have the broadcasters of the 4A tournament. I'll bring them in one at a time, let them introduce themselves, give a little short bio. First up, Ryan Scaggs from up north. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am living the dream, my friend. Living the dream. Tell us a bit about yourself and how long you've been with us, Ryan.
Yeah, so I own Cornerstone Insurance Northwest. I'm an insurance agency owner up here in Coeur d'Alene. I coached high school sports for 15 years. Last stop was at Lakeland High School. I coached football and tennis there. But yeah, I've been with Idaho Sports. I think you lured me out of the coach's booth at a Skyview Lakeland game. This was in 2017 or 18 when we played down there, and I got to talk to you, and I was on the headset, and you ended up getting me back into this. I did radio broadcasting for quite a while, actually, coming out of college, and so I did have some chops. But I'm with Idaho Sports for 6 years now, and then obviously we have the prep cast and stuff up here up north, and things have been awesome. So it's been a pleasure being a part of the Idaho Sports team, and I'm looking forward to finally being back at state after due to work and personal stuff, a 3 or 4 year hiatus. So we're back in the driver's seat and ready to be behind the microphone this week.
Yeah, we're definitely happy to have you back. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is a good tournament. Let's bring in Lance. Lance, how are you, man?
Good, doing good.
Well, you were freezing up. Now you're frozen. At least you're smiling while you're frozen. There you go. Now you're back.
That better?
That's better. That's better.
All righty.
So tell us about yourself, what you do, and how long you've been with Idaho Sports.
Well, I've been with Idaho. I don't know exactly how long. I have 7 children, and all 7 of them are at home at the time, and only one is left at home now. And he was a baby at the time, and he's in high school now. So I've been with you close to 13 years, somewhere along that range.
You had jet black hair when you started. That's how long you've been with us. Hey, there's Cornerstone Insurance right there. That's Ryan Scaggs.
Yeah, you can see it up there. So in my other life outside of this, I actually started in 94.5 KVFM out of Cache Valley, Utah. Started radio there, and I've a lot of businesses and different things like that over the years. So that's kind of.
And he's frozen again. All right.
At least he's not on the beanbag this week.
I wasn't on the beanbag last time. It's just a really soft chair.
All right, Ryan, we're going to go ahead and go into the bracket. Okay?
Let's do it.
4A tournament, 4 good games on day one. This is just a really good tournament, top to bottom. It's exciting. And there's teams on here. I think last year there's 3 teams that were on the bracket last year, I think, if I counted right. So you got new blood.
This tournament, yeah, because you did have Cole Valley, but they were obviously runner-up to the classification lower last year.
Lower classification.
I mean, there's a lot of tournament pedigree in this year's bracket.
Absolutely. You got number 3 Sugar versus number 6 McCall Donnelly, number 2 Snake River versus number 7 Filer, number 1 returning champs Bonners Ferry versus number 8 Kimberly, and number 4 Cole Valley moved up a classification and they're back in the tournament, and then number 5 Marsh Valley.
And correct me if I'm wrong too. I believe that Sugar was the only team in this tournament this year that was not at state last year at any of the classifications. So it's a really good field. 7 out of 8 teams. Okay,
never mind then. I was thinking of the wrong bracket.
Yeah, and I was going back through my notes and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure everybody was there. But yeah, it's a deep field this year.
Right? Sugar not in a state tournament is just a weird thing to happen. All right, guys, let's take a look at this bracket and talk about the matchups. Let's go this one.
There we go.
So Sugar McCall, guys, opening things up for the day. This top half of the bracket, it's kind of destined, I think, for Sugar Snake. But what do you guys think? Lance?
Ryan? I think the most buzz is going to be around that first game.
Yeah.
I think that's and again, the things that I talk about, everybody plays their best. Whose best is better? And I think best is probably better in that scenario. But that's why it's played on the court.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, we can see this.
Game,
Go ahead.
Lance, you're freezing up on us. Big time.
Am I frozen still?
Yeah.
Frozen still?
Yeah.
You know why?
If you stop your camera, you might actually be able to talk.
All right, let's look at.
I will say this, Paul, is that I think this bracket, though, is going to be the black and blue bracket. I mean, you look at the teams that are here as far as physical play, and I don't know what the officiating is going to be at state. Lance and I talked about this off air, but depending on the officiating can change the pace of these games. If they're willing to let the guys bang around, I mean, these games can get pretty darn physical. If they're going to call a tighter game, I think you're going to get into the finesse type affair, and that's definitely going to play to the hands. I look at Snake and Sugar especially, but McCall, the way they play defense and they're physical, I mean, they can get down low, and you look at what they've got down low with number 4, Michael Foster. That dude can attack the boards. He's a shot blocking machine down low. So, that first game, like I would echo exactly what Lance said. I think that first game right out of the chute's the one to watch on this bracket so far.
Lance, you with us?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go with it. Yeah. I game brings a lot of buzz to the stadium. I think we're, I think of all the teams that after you get past the first 4, I think McCall is the scariest team as far as potential goes. I think they've got so much. I think a lot of what we see in this state tournament, I'll take Bonners Ferry out of this mix because Bonners Ferry is very, very consistent. But I think with the other teams, you see a lot of streak shooting. I think we're going to see a lot of games that deal with runs, who can get on the run. On a run towards the end of the game. And again, Bonners Ferry is the exception to that. They are really a consistent team.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Speaking of Bonners Ferry, Kimberly, that's a number 1 versus number 8. And this bottom half of the bracket, I think it's Bonners Ferry. Bonners Ferry's, championship to lose, but they kind of have a little bit easier route, I think, than that top half. What do you guys think?
Absolutely, I would agree. I mean, you look at what Bonners Ferry did with their regular season schedule, and playing the upper echelon teams out of the IEL 5 and 6A. I mean, they got dates against Lake City, Coeur d'Alene. They lost to Lake City by 5. They beat Coeur d'Alene. They played that at a neutral site game at NIC, and they took the Vikings out of the gym in that one. Bonners Ferry's got a win over Lewiston. I mean, they scheduled up for what they could do with. You're so far isolated on an island up north. I mean, they're 85 miles from Coeur d'Alene. That you're that far. You got to try to be very unique with your schedule and how you can get some competition in your scheduling. And you're not going to get some of those mid-season tournaments and early season tournaments to travel during Christmas break. I mean, that's a 9-hour trip if you're going to East Idaho. And so they're going to play those Washington schools, and they scheduled up against some of the Washington teams. And, there's a team in there, Reardon from Washington. They're going to be playing in Spokane this week for the State B tournament. And, I mean, that's a really good team, too. And this Bonners Ferry teams, we know what they can be because we saw them win the state championship last year. But, if teams going to – I think if you look at if you're going to, throw chinks in the armor, the teams that make them run, get out in transition, those are the ones that's what Lake City kind of got it into a track meet. And that was how they were able to climb back. Bonners led most of that game. And Lake City was able to come back and surmount and climb the mountain on them. If you get Bonners Ferry running and they don't have a deep bench, that's the other thing. If you can get their bigs in foul trouble, especially Abubakar, you get him out of the lane. I mean, that bench, there's only 3 guys on the bench behind the starters. They have 8 guys. And that's, Coach Williams, that's all he needs. Give me 8. We don't care. And, but you look at that 4-5 matchup with Cole Valley and Marsh Valley. Marsh Valley comes in probably one of the hotter teams coming into the tournament too. So if you're looking at a team that could really push Bonners Ferry, Marsh Valley, the way they can shoot, as Lance said, being streaky, that's the team, if I looked, that could try to pull the trigger on an upset. That's the one team I would really look at.
Okay,
I think you're right there.
Go ahead.
I think it's Ferry too. I think one of the things you got is their front five is so good, just so good. They got 2 players on that team that are 1,000+ point scorers. Asher Williams is just a fantastic player. You got Thomas Bateman, part of that state championship team here. They're so disciplined. They're so well coached. They know there's another team, and maybe in the whole state, I don't know, better than Bonners Ferry knows who they are. They absolutely know who they are, where they get their scoring from, what they do. And the one thing I've always loved about Coach Williams' system is their scorers are the ones taking the majority of the shots. He gets it in the hands of Asher. He gets it in the hands of Thomas. Those guys can score the ball, and the other teammates take a lot of pride in getting the ball to those guys, pride in setting picks and rebounding. And I mean, this Bonners Ferry team, again, back to if everybody in this tournament plays their best is better than anyone else's best, I believe.
Yep, I would agree 100%. And you look at too, it's we talk about, they have 2,000 point scorers. Well, how many nights, a week is Asher Williams drawing a double team, and you see Bateman go off for 23, 24, 25. I mean, any given night, you get into the state tournament and you try to focus on one player, Bateman's going to hurt you. And that those other guys, they've got size. That's the one thing about that lineup too, is that their smallest guy in the starting lineup, I think, is 6'2". So, I mean, that's a team that can stretch the floor with size. Abubakari down low, I think, could be a difference maker. If they try to really put the clamps down on the perimeter, I would love to see him at 6'7", just a big body down low to just take up the block down there. I mean, that could be a real difference maker for Bonners Ferry. Kimberly's going to have their hands full in that game, but Kimberly can get out and run too. I mean, that's the thing. Kimberly's a streaky shooting team. They've got some big wins on their own right this season as well. And, they've knocked off Sugar, earlier this year, and they beat some teams. So, they took some tough losses as well. The one thing about Kimberly I really look at is, they've got how many losses they have on the season by single digits. I mean, they've been in ball games. They don't necessarily have the flashy record, but that's a team that's hung around with some of the better teams in the state, at least in that area in District 4, 5, and 6.
All right, guys, let's go to the last game of the day. Got to move on, or we're going to lose our green room, guys. Yeah. We're behind. So we've got Coal Valley, Marsh Valley, the Battle of the Valleys. Coal Valley in the 2A championship last year, B3, lost to Ambrose by 2. Now they move up a classification, and here they are, number 4 seed in the state tournament. Can they make some noise, guys? Lance?
Yeah, they potentially. That to me again. I think the first game of the day is the big buzz. However, that's the game that I think right now gives the most questions in mind. Is what's going to happen between those two teams and time, and quite a physical.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Holsinger comes back from that state championship, state runner-up team last year. And, as he goes, the team goes. But they have probably one of the more special players in the state, and freshman Soren Frost. That kid can flat play. I don't know if anybody's really seen him play. He might be the best freshman in the state of Idaho that's starting in any classification. That kid can flat play. And he's going to be a matchup problem. He's 6'5", 6'6". He's rangy. And, that's if he has a nice tournament as a freshman playing with house money, I mean, that's a kid that it would be fun to see what he can do in the state tournament this week.
All right, real quick, guys. Go ahead.
No, I just said I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Okay, not to make your head any bigger, but Lance was great in the girls' 4A tourney. There you go. That one says
Thank you, Matthew.
And they're ranked lower. Well, we saw that in the girls' tournament where, Madison and Rigby, where they beat them 3 times and they were still ranked lower. So that's just a big thing. From Sven, this will make you laugh. Lance's Internet brought to you by Aunt Dixie. Lance, how about that? Asher Williams over 21
way back.
Career points. I actually cut that clip out or sent him anyway. Yeah, we found that clip the other day. I haven't seen a team stop him yet, not even Lake City. So again, you guys talked about Asher Williams. Matthew back. McCall played a lot of big schools, so they're ready. And Sean, co-host of the East Idaho Prepcast, Marsh Valley, a 4-game winning streak, beating Snake twice. And Coal Valley's long but doesn't like to be physical. All right, well, there we go, guys. Let's look at our players to watch for the 4A classification, guys. Asher Williams, we talked about. Isaiah Holsinger, Owen Grant of Filer, Broden Anthony of Kimberly, Justice Whitworth of Marsh Valley, Sam Penny of McCall Donnelly, Marcus Coombs of Snake River, Ace Clark of Sugar Salem. Guys, who jumps out at you here? Who are you excited to watch during this tournament? Ryan?
For me, I mean, it's not even on the list. I was going to say Soren Frost is the kid that I'm looking at, but I mean, you could also Ace Clark or Hank Carter for Sugar. I think those are two guys that they have a big tournament. They could find themselves playing on Saturday afternoon in the Idaho Center. That's a matchup that they could pose problems for Snake River. Snake River is another team, though, we haven't really talked about. And that's the thing is that we look at who they got. Marcus Coombs, that kid can stretch the floor. I mean, 6'5", he can shoot. The rest of the team can
They're
shoot.
A big team.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, they've got size, they've got length, and they got great guard play. So I mean, it's going to be, I think, a tournament of the guards, really, if we look at it. But Sam Penny's another name that's out there. I think, you know, if McCall's going to pull the upset in the first round, quote unquote upset, Sam Penny he's an exciting player to watch, and he's a high flyer too. I mean, he get up to throw it down, and he's a spark plug on the defensive end as well.
Lance, what about you?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, called his name before. Most of these players I've had a chance to watch during the regular season, but I'm excited to watch Asher Williams play again. I've seen the kid since he was just a youngster, and he gets better every single year. And so I love to see what he brings to the table. They're so well coached. All these teams, this is a very well coached state tournament. This group, but I'd see Asher and Thomas Bateman, you know, what they bring to the table. A lot of the other guys, like I said, I've watched throughout the year, so I'm excited to see them play. But I mean, not seeing those guys play live this year, I'm excited to see those two play.
All right, guys. One last thing to do. Give me your picks. Who's going to play in the championship? Who wins? Who wants to go first?
Lance, I'll give you the floor.
Okay. You know, boy, this is a team that anybody can win it. Bonners is better. And I believe Bonners Ferry will win it. However, it's in that other side of them. I just do not know. You look at Sugar, McCall, Snake, and Filer. That is a tough upper half of the bracket. But I'm just going to say whoever comes out of there, I just believe that Bonners Ferry is the best team in the state right now.
Ryan, I'm going to assume you're going to agree with Lance.
I'm going to play Homer here. Yeah, I got to go up north. Bonners Ferry, I think, repeats this year. And I mean, if I picked against the Badgers, I don't think I'd ever be able to drive Highway 95 north of Sandpoint ever again. So
who are they going to play in the championship?
I have them. I think Snake River is able to put it back together. I mean, we've seen them the last couple of weeks, you know, take some crazy losses, and Snake River's losses that they've had. I mean, it's not really astounding to me that they did lose those games. I think that those teams are very good. I mean, Marsh Valley is a great team, but I think it's gonna go Bonners Ferry beat Snake River, and I don't really know if it's gonna be close though in the championship game. I think Bonners Ferry is going to be at their best. The more they play, the better they play. That's the thing that they've been doing all season.
All right, you guys just pissed off 7 teams in your tournament. Congratulations.
Good. All right.
Hey, I'm over on the one side, but I'll tell you this: Seeds.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're frozen. You froze it, CJ, or I don't know what you're saying. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It's off the rails.
I think
my Facebook
teams
post
1 through 4, but I just think Bonners Ferry will be the one to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Teams 1 through 4 are
all right, that's going to do it for the 4A Boys State Basketball Tournament Preview Show. These guys will be on the call for all those games without any internet interruptions, guaranteed at that tournament. So before you take off, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. We've got hundreds of people watching and I think 16 likes. That's sad and pathetic, people. Hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. Do it. Do it. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with probably the best segment is going to be the 3A Boys State Tournament Preview Show right after this on IdahoSports.com.